today I have part 2 of my LGBTQ plus romances recommendations for June, which is Pride Month, and I am excited to share the rest of my recommendations with you all. In my previous video I did it into kind of categories, and so I'm going to continue to do that. So the next category I have is Mel, and the first one is a series, and it is the Fake Boyfriend series by Finley. I loved all of these so much. These all have a kind of a fake dating trope, sort of, especially with the first one. It starts off that way. He brings home a guy that he is fake dating, and then they do truly end up falling for each other. The whole series revolves around the sports, different sports. We have football, hockey, baseball, and also like sports reporter. So really good series by Finley, and I highly recommend it. The next one is a duet. This is the London Calling duet by Alexis Hall. The first one is boyfriend material and the second one is husband material. I absolutely love them both. I love Alexis Hall's writing. He writes such funny, quirky characters, and I love it. It makes me laugh every single time, and all of his side characters are adorable as well. But this is about two guys who are unlikely to be together. One is a lawyer, one is a struggling, he is the son of a famous singer, and he is in the limelight, and of course he is struggling to know what to do in life, and the media is always hounds him and showcases his, his failure. They both meet, and they are very, opposites. The lawyer is very, neat and tidy, and the other hero is just very much the opposite. But their story is so cute, and I love how they also go on into the second book when they, further into their relationship and the struggles of like the pressure that they both feel from other people and how they overcome that. And this was just a wonderful duet by Alexis Hall. The next one is Everything for You by Liese. This is one of the books in her Bergman Brothers series. This is about one of the brothers, Ollie or Oliver. He plays soccer and he's on this team. He is put as co-captain of their team with a veteran soccer player that is also captain of the team, and someone that he used to look up to, but now he is just very kind of ruthless to them and very hard on them. Just kind of cold and aloof, and he's not like really the person that he thought he was until they, of course, get to know each other, and they eventually fall for each other. I love this one. Of course, this is one of my all-time favorite series. I loved all the books in this series. Really enjoyed seeing their relationship unfold. The next series is The Necessary Evils by Onley James. This is a very different kind of series. This is about psychopaths who are killers for kind of justice purposes. So there is this doctor who has been adopting these boys who have been labeled as psychopaths. He's been raising them as his sons, and he is trying to teach them not really empathy, because of course they can't feel emotions, they don't have empathy, but he is trying to raise them to not be serial killers, but kill for good reasons, I guess you could say. It's morally gray characters. They take out people who are just really bad people, really awful people, and it kind of curbs that tendency that they have as psychopaths. And it is a really good series. I haven't finished it all the way yet. I need to. That is really, it needs to be a high priority for me to finish this series, but I love this series. They're all very, morally great characters, but I love how they meet each of their, partners, and they don't even really know what love feels like, but they just know that they would do anything to keep that person in their life, and it is just so sweet, so adorable, and I love this series so much. The next one I have is Pop Star by Finley. I just read this one as well. This is a age gap romance, and this is about a pop star. He used to be part of a boy band, and now they broke up, and now they're kind of all doing their own thing. He is singing, he is continuing his singing career, and something really scary happens when a fan breaks into his house and threatens him, and so he now needs a bodyguard to live at his house, and it's their romance. It is so sweet, so cute. Also has it's kind of a romantic suspense because this fan keeps coming after him, and his bodyguard has to protect him, and it is just so good. I also this year discovered Keira Andrews. She had some really great books that I've read so far. I've read 3 of her books. The first one is Into the Earth, and this is about a guy who is a single dad, and he takes his daughter to Montana, I believe it is, kind of out in the wilderness to go camping because that is what she loves to do. And there he meets the guy who kind of oversees this campground and this, you know, wilderness type place where people come stay. And it is their romance. Something really intense happens in this book. His daughter is kidnapped and they have to go rescue her. And I love the romantic suspense elements in some of these books, and I highly enjoyed this one. The next one is Beyond the Sea. This is where 2 men are flying together, and there was this storm, and they crash and they land on this island out in the middle of the ocean, and they are trying to survive. They're hoping to be rescued, but they, you know, are spending a lot of time together, and they really come to rely on each other a lot, and this was their story. I love survival type romances. And then the third one is Honeymoon for One. I just finished this one actually, and this is about a guy who is about to be married, and then he walks in on his fiance cheating on him with his best friend, and so he takes his own honeymoon by himself because this was a place where his mom always wanted to go, and it was Australia, and he takes his honeymoon by himself just to get away and kind of figure out what he's going to do next. And one of the tour guides is the driver of the tour. He meets him, and it was their romance. Then we have Love Me Whole by Nicky James. One of the heroes has DID, which is dissociative identity disorder, which was formerly called multiple personality disorder. I think this is also an age gap as well. The older hero is going to this college to take a class on business, and there he meets another student there who is going to that same college. Very confused at first because this guy on different days he acts different ways, and he is really confused about it, and then he meets him, gets to know him, and discovers that he has DID. And this was so interesting to read, and I love their romance. I loved how even though he had DID, and he not only fell in love with, you know, this man, but he also has a different type of relationship with all of his personalities. So this was very, very interesting, and I loved it a lot. Of course, I cannot leave this one off. This is one of my all-time favorite duets. This is Him and Us by Sarina Bowen. Him is the first book in this duet, and I just freaking adored this one so much. I really need to do a reread. I've been wanting to reread it for so long. I need to just do it. But this is about 2 guys. They are childhood friends. They meet every summer at a hockey camp because they both play hockey. And then they end up being on rival college teams, and they have to play against each other. And something kind of happened. They were kind of experimenting one year at this hockey camp, and one of them kind of freaked out, and they never really spoke to each other again until, you know, now they're in college and they're on these rival teams and they see each other again, and it's their romance, and it is so freaking sweet. I love them. They're athletes, and athletes are oftentimes pressured to stay closeted, and this is also a struggle for them as well. But I just love their journey. Their whole, you know, romance is just so great to read and watch, and I highly, highly recommend this duet. The next one is Someday Someday by Emma Scott. This is one of the heroes has struggled. He's been on the streets for a long time. He was kicked out by his parents when they discovered that he was gay when he was a teenager, and he's been struggling ever since. He had to live on the streets and make money for himself in very, you know, not really good ways, and he became addicted to drugs as well. And he is, you know, in his adult life, he is doing much better. You know, he is in recovery, and he meets a guy who is supposed to inherit this very, very expensive pharmaceutical company. His dad owns it, and he is set to inherit it. He is also an addict himself, and there they meet at the recovery meetings, and it is their romance. And I really enjoyed this one by Emma Scott. Emma Scott writes really, I don't want to say heartbreaking romances, but they tend to be very deep and a lot of times they are heartbreaking and just very deep and meaningful romances, and this was one that I really liked. The last one is A Top Secret by Sarina Bowen, and this is also another male-male romance she has written. They are both in college, and one of them is in a relationship with his girlfriend, and he and his girlfriend decide they want to have a threesome. And so he puts this like ad up, and a guy responds to it, and it just so happens to be his enemy. So it's their romance. It was really cute. I really enjoyed it. The next category, I only have one recommendation for it because I just haven't read many, but this is non-binary and I have one for it. It is Visible Mending by Arbon. This is about Ed and Carrie. Ed is living in this small town. He has this group of friends that he hangs out with, and they're very quirky friends. They love to bake, and he always brings everybody baked treats. And then they get a new neighbor in the house that is empty next door, and it happens to be Carrie. Carrie has just come out of a relationship, and they are new to town, and this is their romance. It was very cute, very atmospheric type of story in this small town with all these little side characters. It almost kind of reminds me of an Alexis Hall story, but it's very cute. I really enjoyed it, and I believe this is book one in that particular series. I think it's like Clover Hill, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And then our last category is bisexual. The first one I have is If Only You by Chloe Liese. This is about the sister in the Bergman brothers family. This is one of the sisters. Her name is Ziggy, and this is her romance. She is bi, and she meets this guy. He plays hockey with her brother, and so this is kind of it's not brother's best friend, but it is brother's teammate, and he is very much warned to stay away from her, but she decides that she needs somebody to help her look more grown up, less of a child. He has very much a playboy type of reputation, and he needs someone that will help him seem more family friendly, more, calm down. And so they entered this fake relationship together, and which turns into more, and I think it is and this is the latest installment in that series. An excellent book in a series. Then we have Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is the second book in the Brown Sisters series. This is about Dani, and she is, I believe she's going to school or finishing up her graduate program, and she is rescued by one of the security guards there in the elevator, I believe, and someone videos them, and it kind of goes viral, and because he used to be a famous athlete, and so they kind of have to put on this fake dating relationship, and they end up falling for each other. It's been a while since I've read the series, but I remember highly liking the book in this series. Next we have Neighborly by Katrina Jackson. This is about two married couples, and they are both living next door to each other. One has recently moved in, and both of the wives in these couples are curious about being with each other, and so they kind of this is more just erotica, but I loved how their dynamic kind of was, and how they were really infatuated with each other, and it was just a really great read, and I enjoyed it. Then we have Xeni by Rebekah Weatherspoon. This is about a girl who I think recently lost her grandmother. She is having to clean out her grandmother's house, plan her grandmother's funeral and everything, and there she meets this guy who her grandmother had hired to sing at her funeral, and he helps her throughout all of this, and this is their budding romance. And then the last one I have is Give Me More by Sarah Cate. This is part of a series. I think it's the Salacious Players Club series, if I'm not mistaken. It is one of the owners of the sex club that they co-own with each other, and they are traveling around, him and his wife are traveling around visiting these other clubs to kind of see things that they need to improve on, or you know, new ideas that they can bring to their club. His best friend is also traveling with him, and they all kind of discover along this road trip of sorts that they are very highly infatuated with each other, and this is their romance between all three. And I love this one. It's my favorite book in the series. So that wraps up my LGBTQ plus romance recommendation videos. I hope you guys enjoyed them. Please give me recommendations too as well. I'm always looking for new books to read. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.